So if you want to listen to this on your own website version of this, and you want to do it on your own, now you need to go forwards about 3 minutes, a little bit more, 3.5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to play it now for anybody that can't access this for whatever reason. I'm going to put it on fast play, but I'm also going to put up the text. Okay, so are you ready? Here we go.
A.
What make of phone do you have?
I have an iPhone.
How old is it?
About 2 years old.
How often do you change phones?
Not very often, I would say. I like to, I'm not particularly worried about having the latest phone. I just want one that works well. I usually keep my phone about 4 years, if I don't lose it, that is.
What do you use your phone for the most?
Probably the internet and messaging. Things like WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger.
So you don't use it much to actually talk to people?
No, I don't.
What other apps do you use a lot?
I use the weather one quite a lot, and I have a couple of games I like playing. And Skype. I use Skype from time to time to talk to my brother, because he lives in Spain.
Do you have any unusual apps that you sometimes use?
I have one to track the food that I eat, but I don't use it every day. And I have a photo editing app.
B.
What kind of phone do you have?
An Android smartphone. A Samsung Galaxy, I think.
Is it new?
About 6 months old.
How often do you change phones?
About every 2 to 3 years.
What do you use it for the most?
Receiving phone calls from other people or looking up things on the internet.
What apps do you have that you use a lot?
An online banking app. I use that a lot. Email, of course. And the Kindle app, the e-reader.
Do you like reading on your phone?
No, I much prefer reading real books, paper books. But as I always have my phone with me, there are lots of times, like on the bus, or if I'm waiting for somebody, I can read a book on my phone.
Do you have any unusual apps that you sometimes use?
I have an app so I can order a taxi from my local taxi company.
C.
What kind of phone do you have?
An iPhone.
How often do you change your phone?
When my contract lets me upgrade it, which is, I don't know, every 2 or 3 years.
What do you use your phone for the most?
Email, text messages, internet, and phone. I mean, talking, in that order.
What apps do you use a lot?
Apart from Mail and Google, you mean?
Yes.
Twitter, BBC News, and various transport apps for booking trains or seeing what time they are.
Do you have any unusual apps that you sometimes use?
I have a night sky app. If it's a starry night, I sometimes use that. You point your phone at the sky, and it tells you the names of the stars and planets and things.
Okay, did you get all that? The answers are coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here they come. 1A, 2C, 3B, 4B, 5A, 6C, 7B, 8C, and 9A. Okay? What about you? What phones do you have? How often do you change phones? What 3 things do you do the most on your phone? Is there anything in the list before that you never do on your phone? Why not? Do you have any apps apart from the ones in 1A that you use a lot? What are they? Do you have any unusual apps on your phone? What are they? I'm going to answer those questions for me. I've got a Huawei at the moment, and I wish I could I think I can change it next month. I can change it in July, I think. And I can't wait to get a new phone because I had Samsungs before that, and I like Samsungs. I think I'm going to go back to Samsung. What 3 things do I do the most on it? I probably check social media, although not as much as before. I used to check Facebook a lot, and I don't so much now. I use it mostly, I think, now to check the news and the weather. Things that I never do. I don't play games on my phone, and well, you only use at night. I set my alarm at night so it comes on in the morning, so I wake up on time. What else have we got? Any apps apart from the ones in 1A that you use a lot? Yes, football apps. things to check sport. I have a Kindle on my old phone actually, and I use it for when I'm traveling. So I use my old phone for music and for reading, because if I'm on a train or if I'm on a plane, especially if I'm flying, then maybe I can't risk my battery on my normal phone, so I take a second phone with me. Unusual apps. Did I say that one already? Let's move on. Okay. I'm taking 11C, 12A and 12B a little bit more slowly than we normally do them, or not slowly, but in more detail. I want to look at them in more detail. There are many reasons for this. One reason is that you can do 12C completely on your own. You don't need me for that. Another reason is we need to get to the end of the Rob and Jenny story. But the main one is that it gives you a good chance to look at some grammar again in more detail, and also the grammar that's coming up in Unit 12 is going to be very important for you in the next years, and so I think we need to start it properly. In this case, there are some questions here for reading, and it says, how often do you, this is part C, how often do you go to the bank, go to travel agents? Do you know what a travel agent is? Does anybody use them? So when we answer the question how often, the first thing is when we ask the question how often, we always say do you, if we're talking about life in general and including now. Okay, how often do you go to college? How often do you go out of your house into town? How often do you go to the beach? How often do you play football in the park? Okay, do you, yeah? That's because it's present simple. The reason it's present simple is because we're talking about a habit, a routine. Now, when we answer them, we must remember that we're going to use adverbs of frequency, yeah? Often, usually, rarely, never. Okay, and we need to remember with that one that we have the person, and then how often, and then the action verb. So I never go to the travel, I never go to travel agents. Okay, I never go, not I go never. Yeah, I never go. I never buy CDs. Okay, I sometimes buy stamps. I often write by hand. Okay, so yeah, the often, the sometimes, the never, the always goes before the action verb. Okay, buy, look, or write. Then if we're going to use more than one word, every day, every weekend, once a month, twice a week. That one is too long to put before the verb, so we put it at the end of the sentence, or rather at the end of the clause. Okay, so I go to the bank once a month. I buy stamps twice a year. I write by hand every day. I read printed books, every morning. Okay, something like that. Yeah, so remember, if we're using many words, we put them at the end of the sentence. If we are using one word, we put it before the, what I'm calling the action verb. Okay, the main verb in this case. The one difference is to be. We can't say I sometimes, so we say I'm sometimes. Even if we say I am, it's still I am always happy when I see you. Okay, I am always happy, not I always am, and certainly not always I am. Okay, we can't put that one at the beginning. Yeah, if you stick to that, you will be fine. Okay, let's get on with the exercise.